Hey y'all, welcome back to the DC Motor Workshop. My name's Cameron and I'm here with two very special AMG cars. This is a R230 SL65 and behind me I've got a 166 chassis GL63 and I want to share these two with you all as these two vehicles are owned by clients that really understand what they have and are willing to do what it takes to keep these things on the road in tip-top shape. So this one is actually one of my longtime clients. I've had him and taken care of this car for, I think, coming up on 8 years or so. It was his daily driver for a number of years. Story goes he actually had a SL500 of this chassis and was driving down the road somewhere and passed a Nissan dealer of all things, and this was prominently displayed out in the front of their lot. He said he drove in the red one and drove out with this one, and it was actually his daily driver for a number of years. It currently has, I believe we're at 84,000 miles, somewhere around there. And a few years ago we did a transmission service and saw that there was a significant amount of metal debris in the pan. The fluid was almost brand new, but with all that debris we knew it wasn't very long for this world. So it just last week he brought it in and said it was having some issues, and it's completely burned itself up at this point. Something let loose inside the transmission, which we may be able to tear down and find out what that is. It's got a pretty expensive core on it. We actually sourced a Mercedes-Benz factory remanufactured transmission for this car. He didn't want to mess around with a used one or, a questionable, rebuild. He wanted to get it direct from the factory and do this job right. And if you look around this car, which we'll show you around in just a minute, there's hardly anything that it needs. Whenever I see it, I do regular service, and if something else comes up, he says take care of it. And this was no exception. We made sure that there was no other issue causing this failure. It's just there's a mechanical fault inside the transmission. So he said get it done. Even though this one, it's no longer his daily driver, he maybe puts a couple thousand miles on it a year. And the transmission made it a couple extra years. I think it's right at 2 years or so that it made it before finally letting go. So we've got one in the box over there. We're going to go ahead and we've already started underneath, draining the fluids and so forth to get this one replaced for him. So he'll get that done and he'll be back on the road. So a little bit of a different situation here on the GL. This client actually just purchased this vehicle. It has a very lengthy service history. I believe it was with Fletcher Jones out in California. So he just purchased it, and they actually do a lot of road trips and long distance driving. So he brought it in and said, hey, I just bought this car and I want to make sure it's right. I don't want to have any issues with it. Just get it done. So we're changing every fluid, and any other concern with the vehicle. Total on this bill is pretty high, but again, the gentleman that owns it understands what he has and how he wants the car to perform, so he wants it in tip-top shape. I'm going to show you around some of the things we're doing on this one. So in another video we go over some of the common failures on the M278, or in this case the AMG, the M157 engine, which is the bi-turbo V8 predecessing the hot V engine, where the turbos would be here in the middle. A couple common oil leaks are these front covers. Got them over here getting ready to be resealed. This one thankfully had all of these cooler lines for the turbo chargers replaced already, so they're still in good shape. It has also had a water pump, so we were able to not do that at this time. We're going to take care of all the oil leaks and get him up to date. Servicing the transmission, both differentials, the transfer case. And you can see just how nice a shape this vehicle is in. So go ahead and put it up on the lift and show you some of the other things we're doing. All right, up on the lift now here. And show you some of the other things we're doing. See this front differential bushing tearing through. So we're going to pull the differential and do all 3 bushings. Got one here, the front and the rear. The rear one is the most common to start splitting. I've already completed a transmission service, so you can see where that one's been wiped down already. This one also, very typical with Mercedes, is difficult to see up in here, but the engine mounts are broken. So we're going to take care of that as well. Specifically on any of the SUV platforms, you can see these lower control arm bushings are splitting through. And believe it or not, it is actually more cost effective to replace the whole arm than it is to just get this rear bushing and press it on and off. And with that, you also renew the bushing for the front shocks and the forward bushing on the control arm. We've got some new brakes, as these ones are worn down to their minimum specs. We're also doing upper control arms, as those bushings are split through as well. So once we're done, this client will have a fully sorted GL that he can take on long road trips and not have to worry about, and know that it's performing its best. Give you a quick peek around the SL as well. You can see just how clear the headlights are. He's got a paint protection film on it. You can see the engine is clean. It has no leaks. The entire engine bay is just super clean. Even the interior we'll show you as well. This is just one of the nicest R230s that we ever see. Unfortunately, these cars are pretty heavy on maintenance, and as well as some of the interior parts as well. Don't seem to last with age, but this one looks almost new. You can see just the slightest bit of dye wear on the driver's bolster here, which could easily be remedied by re-dyeing that seat. It's got the factory dark center twin 5-spoke wheels with Michelin tires. The top works flawlessly. Everything on this car just works. It's just a testament to the ownership of this vehicle. All right, we've got it raised up on the lift now to show you a look around underneath. It was a bit of a rainy day today, so we do have some wetness underneath the vehicle just from rainwater. Let's have a look how clean the underside of this vehicle is. I mean, none of the bushings are torn. Engine mounts are in good shape. He had ball joints done a few years ago. As common with Mercedes of this vintage, the rear main seal is leaking a little bit. However, with the transmission out, we're going to go ahead and take care of that for him as well. We also have this one fitted with test pipes. He does take this car on the track. It does make quite a mean noise. We also have a limited slip diff installed in this one as well, for that same reason, as he had complaints of traction issues, as this one's tuned and has some other modifications as well, so it's pretty close to 700 horsepower. You can see tires, everything you see is just in great shape. He doesn't wait for things to wear out completely. Just make sure this car is always ready to go. Alrighty, y'all, just wanted to show you around these two cars and show you that, we understand this is a pretty expensive endeavor to keep these older cars going. As we say, the MSRP on these cars was, I think this one was 180 to 200,000, and these are 120 to 140,000 new. As we like to tell our clients, the cars depreciate in their values, but the service costs usually do not. And fortunately, these clients are understanding and know that even though the car has depreciated, they understand what it was new and what it still is in the modern day, and are willing to do what it takes to keep these cars performing at their best. Thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.